So the next time you need a robot for your epic robot on the rampage kind of movie that I love, of course, so well, you might want to think about building your own robot. I know some of you will want to buy your own, but robots are very expensive. I mean, they're millions of dollars, and possibly trillions in today's economy. So I think it's best to build your robot from found parts. And if you look around, I think you'll find just what you need. And so let's go digging through the scrap heap and see if we can find what will be great for building a robot. Let's go over and look in our CloneBone bin. And I'm going to use CloneBone A. You can use B just as well. You might want to use the face because, let's face it, I do love cyborgs and androids, so you might need the face for something. So here's our CloneBone, and let's think about finding the parts to make the robot. So let's go over to our props and blocks, and let's just experiment with some of the blocks that are available. Start with the feet and work our way up. And let's see, this pyramid shape might be cool. So let's hit the R key here so you can see what's going on. And let's just scale that down. And that might make a nice foot. Hit the E key here, hold down the shift, and let's rotate that around. And that might make a nice foot if we go in here and take a look. So yeah, let's work with that. I'm not going to worry about the toes too much. You can do that and make something probably cool, better than I'm doing here. But I'm just going to do a single object here for the foot. So let's put that there, and let's rename that just so we can keep things kind of straight. We'll just call it foot for now. I think that'll be okay. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate by holding down the control key and dragging another pyramid foot out right there, and that'll be a foot. So what you'll want to do is probably connect this object to the foot, and I'm going to go ahead and do that now just for grins. A lot of times it's best to connect with the object kind of away from the skeleton here. So let's attach that to, looks like it's going to be the left foot, and then of course you can slide it in. I had the wrong one selected, so let's do another selection. Right there, left foot, and let's go back over to this one and reselect that. Sometimes it's hard to see which foot you're connecting. Okay, there we go. Right foot and left foot. So we'll just click the foot object over here and we can slide it into place like so, and select our other foot and slide it into place like so, and you can make your adjustments accordingly at some point. But now we have the feet attached. Let's think about the leg, lower leg maybe. And so let's back up a little bit here. Let's go look for parts, found parts once again that might be usable for this. And let's just poke around here. Let's see. Let's try the other pyramid. Let's do that one. And once again, hit the right key and scale it down, and then maybe stretch it out a little bit. And scale it some more, and stretch it, and just kind of play around with the object till we get a size that we think will work for the lower leg. And keep playing with those tweaking tools there. Okay, that might work. I think I'll probably, well, I may or may not want to rotate that, but let's go ahead and rotate it and just see what we get here. Yeah, I think that's about right. There we go. And that might work about right. Let's think about the knee joint, and so let's find an object that might work good for a knee. And we've got the cylinder here. I'm going to use the cylinder 1. And let's scale it down. If we can select it here, we hold down the X key alternate here and scale that down pretty small. That will potentially make a good knee. We'll rotate that. And let's just see what happens there. Okay. And we'll probably scale some more. And you can always tweak the objects a little more once you get them attached. And that'll probably be necessary at some point, but let's just do that. And make it a little wider maybe. Okay, now let's move that over to our lower leg. And it's acting up a little bit. There we go. And move that around. Okay. And let's slide this over a little bit. Okay. Getting there. Let's select this lower leg and just make it just a little smaller, a little narrower. Okay. And let's raise it here. Attach. Okay, now let's attach that to the knee object. And let's just name that cylinder knee. And leg. That'll be fine. And let's duplicate that. Hold down the control key and slide that over. And I think I'm going to use that similar object. No, let's see. I think I may use the. I think I may do something different for the thigh, or a little different. So okay, now let's go ahead and select what we want here. We want to select that, and let's go ahead and kind of position this where it's kind of accurate. So with what the CloneBone's doing. So I'm going to rotate that a little bit so it kind of lines up with the shape and the angle of the CloneBone, like so. And pretty good. We'll probably tweak that foot a little bit since it looks a little off for now, but that's getting that lined up pretty nicely. Let's go back to our foot and slide him over a little bit. Okay, very nice. Okay, let's move that leg, knee back, and let's once again move it back so we can point at the object we want to attach it to. Let's attach it to the leg here, and slide it back into place. And, pretty much there. We'll tweak some more, I'm sure, at some point, but for now, that's pretty close. And we'll play with that foot again. Get the right foot here. You can go back and name right foot, left foot if you need to, of course, so you'll know exactly what you're going to be adjusting. So yeah, there we go. Getting there for that. Okay, we've got both of the lower legs set up, and now let's work on this thigh portion. And let's think about the kind of the hip joint here. I'm going to use a ball for that, since there's kind of a lot of movement at the hip area. Let's just think about using a ball joint, something along those lines, probably smaller, but once again we can always tweak it. And let's go back. That's kind of nice, that box. Let's just experiment with that box and see what it does. Let's tweak it and extend it. And see if we can make a kind of a thigh from that. And I think it may work okay. Let's just hit X here. And let's see. Okay. Let's size that down some more. And of course, we're going to rotate that. So Let's rotate. And probably going to want to keep a larger area to the top, thicker area, and narrower at the base. So let's try that. And we'll position that somewhere inside that ball joint. We'll do a little more scaling. Get what we want. And I think we're getting kind of close there. I think. Take a look at it from all sides, kind of see how it's lining up. And once again, you'll tweak some more. For sure, I want to apologize to those that do not like robots. You can always turn off the tutorial if you don't like robots. I'm going to apologize at the beginning here before we get too deep into this. But I love robots, so that's why I'm going to do a little tutorial. Here we go. Let's just link that thigh to that joint there. And let's just say thigh and leg or so. Name it however you want to. But that'll get us close. And once again, let's duplicate. Hold down the control key and we'll make a dupe of that and slide it over. Take this and slide it back. See how we're doing. Okay. We'll probably be okay there. We'll tweak some more on those once we get everything kind of together. Let's think about this abdominal section right here. And let's think what might be good here. Once again, I think that kind of pyramid box might work okay. Pyramid shape. Let's size it. And let's take it up. Of course, we can make a lovely female robot with it turned that way, or let's go the other way and make a hit control by accident. Do that a lot. Hold down the shift key here and let's see if we can get it to snap a little bit better. There we go. And there we go. Let's try that. And once again, use our scaling and sizing tools. Keep flipping things around, seeing how they're lining up. And get kind of close to an abdominal segment. And let's probably figure that's going to be okay for that for now. Once again, let's just go ahead and name that ab. And that'll get us close enough. Slide that back before we attach. And let's think about that might make a nice chest. You could use a box shape. I like to have a little angle, so I'm going to hold the control key down. And let's take that same shape and tweak it a bit more. And let's think that might just make a nice chest portion. We'll say. And once again, experiment with all the different pieces and parts. You can make some really cool shapes just with the parts in the props folder. And even though they're very simple, very basic, you can stretch them a little bit, and tweak them, and get kind of what you want. So we'll let that be the chest. And I'm thinking going back to my thigh, let's duplicate that one more time. That might make a nice arm, a segment up here for the arm, so we'll tweak it for that. So now let's go through and attach things like we had, and let's attach this up here to this thigh. Let's go ahead and move it, and just for granted, as I said, let's rotate it so it kind of fits the angle that the CloneBot already has. And it's pretty close. Let's tweak it a little more, just so we can kind of match that angle ever so slightly, because that's kind of the way he's positioned. Plus then now attach and pick the parent there. And now we've got that thigh attached to there. And once again, line him up. And let's find the other thigh. And once again, we could actually, let's make it a little easier on ourselves. Let's do this. Let's just take this thigh that we had right here. Let's detach for a second and hold down the control key and slide him over. And he's in the right angle, so we'll just let him be the other thigh. So let's go back and slide this back and pick the parent again and slide it in place. And let's pick the other thigh and pick the parent, which will be this right thigh, and slide him in place. And there we go. Getting close. Let's take this abdominal section and let's bring him up. And so. And yeah, about there's where we're probably going to be. So let's slide him back out of the way and let's attach him right there. And his lower torso. I call it lower torso. Okay. And let's do the same for the chest. And the big parent, I'm going to select this guy right here, upper torso. And slide him in place there. There we go. And back a little bit. Okay. Okay, let's make a few adjustments now. We've got the ab, which we duplicated and made into a chest. Let's go ahead and rename that. And maybe make a few adjustments to that. Let's see here a little bit. Okay. Getting there. Once again, you can always tweak some more after it's done. Nothing is permanent. That's the beauty thing. And probably going to work on that ab a little too. Needs a little more adjustment. But we'll tweak it as we go and get things just like we like them. Okay, moving right along, let's go ahead now and take these thigh adjustments, thigh parts that we made, make them arms. Let's rename this one. And let's make that again there. Make that arm. Okay, and let's go ahead and duplicate that since we've got it renamed. And yeah, of course, there we go. Hold down Control key. Let's go ahead and duplicate and delete that one. Hit the delete key on that. And now let's make some serious tweaks to this arm to get it right. And let's see here. Since everything's attached, here we go. Take that. And once again, I want to kind of fit the positioning of the CloneBone. So we will make some adjustments to that in positioning. And let's rotate back a little bit. And then we will rotate out a little bit. And, that's pretty close. Okay. And like that pretty good. Once again, might be as easy instead of trying to duplicate. Let's just hold down the control key and duplicate that again. Slide it over and make some opposite adjustments to the other arm. And get it kind of close to what we had. There we go. Okay. Pretty close. And yeah. Okay. I think we're getting there. We'll probably want to use this type of joint maybe again for the forearm. And so let's just think about that. Since there's a lot of motion and rotation, I like to use the sphere at these joints up here. And that might work okay. So let's once again hold down the control and let's duplicate this. And once again, kind of fit it into position close to what the CloneBone is doing. And we'll rotate around and we will do some resizing, of course. Okay. Yeah. Let's do some scaling there. Okay. Very nice. Okay. In there. And if you want to use the cylinder works good there too. And I may change it later, but for right now, I think that'll be okay. Okay, looks like we've got the arms. We've duplicated both sets of arms now. We've attached to the correct portion of the clone bone, and getting the arms pretty well done. It's probably a good idea early on to just double check that things are going to work. Let's go ahead and give our, well, it's called Stickman. There's just something about Stickman that doesn't work. Let's just call it Robot X. Robot X, I like that. So give it a name, and let's go up here to Avatar, and let's make sure we've got Robot X selected. Let's just give it a persona. We'll give it Dylan's persona. And okay, and let's just make sure the robot can walk around. So let's back up here a little bit. And I'm going to right click on the Robot X, do a walk forward, and let's just make sure, yeah, he's walking okay. Alright, so things are basically okay. So let's get back in here close and continue to tweak a few more items. The hand, I'm kind of going to leave the hands as they are this time. You can certainly replace the hands with some other claw or clutching type apparatus that you might build, but I kind of want the hands this time to be available, and you can articulate certain things that way. Let's just give him a palm area. So let's go back and find something. Let's take the half ball and let's just work with that, and I'll just scale that down pretty small, and we'll make that the palm of the hand. And let's see in here, and we will adjust that, tweak that a little bit, and size it a little better, and attach that to each hand. And let's rotate there. And let's move around so we can see what we're doing. I'm holding down the alternate key and rotating around here. So We'll size that where we like it. And it's a little big now, but we'll just kind of cover up that open area. And like so, that's close for now. Once again, we will duplicate that and flip it around, hold down the control key and make a duplicate of that. For now, though, I think that's going to work okay. Okay, we've got the palms fixed and adjusted okay for our purposes now. Let's go ahead and make a neck, and we'll just keep it kind of simple and use a box. Let's say for the neck, and scale that way down, and drag it on up, and drag it up some more, and some more scaling, and for now that's probably going to be close for what we want to do. Once again, we'll probably adjust some more once we've finalized it, but for now that'll be fine. And I'm just going to attach that to the upper torso there. Okay, and now let's figure out what we're going to use for a head. And let's look at our parts. And once again, you got lots of bins to look in. Feel free to look in all the blocks. You'll probably find cool stuff to use. I'm just going to use the cylinder for now. And once again, scale it down with the tools. And drag it up. Here. And scale it to however you want. Large head or smaller. All depends on the effect you're after. You want to cover up the CloneBot there. You could do that, or you might want to let part of the head appear, which might be cool. Okay, and that's a possibility. So once again, I'm going to attach that to the head, and now we can slide that in place. And once again, let's do a quick check and make sure everything kind of is going around. So yeah, it's kind of working okay. Okay, a few things to deal with now. Typically, you might want to turn off the visibility of the CloneBot, CloneBone character A, and I may do that on the lower portion. I don't want these toes, since I haven't assigned toes. Might want to lose that, so we can go up to that. Got me there, and there we go, and that's going invisible. But also, we probably want to make the lower invisible as well, since it's really not showing at all. Might as well. But you see, let's see, hang on, what have we done here? That was upper. Okay, I said lower. Lower, there we go. Lower, we'll go ahead and turn it off. Now, the upper we are going to probably use, so we will need to make it visible, which it already is. If we turn it off, then this is the perfect time then to apply your hands that you might build. But since I wanted to keep those available, let's go ahead and turn it back on. And of course, you'll notice that the yeah, that works fine. The head is still visible because it's a separate item, and there's the face. And if you wanted to lose the face entirely, fine. That's cool. But we still have the upper. We'd have to hide that with another part, which wouldn't be a big deal. We could put a nice dome again on top of that and create a cool effect. So let's take that ball again and use that. Half sphere there, as it were, ball 02 they're calling it, and we can slide that up and attach that, which might make a cool top to our robot as well. And that might be fun to do, so let's do that. sure. Let's now attach that to there, and that's attaching to the head. So that's cool. All right. And the parts that are showing through look like parts, so they may be okay, since we do want to keep the hands. Now the fun part, of course, begins is you can start texturing with some cool textures. You can drag your textures in, and let's take a look at some textures here in a sec. Okay, we've pretty much got him ready, our robot. We've got all our naming conventions correct. We've changed the cylinder to head, and the dome on top, and the neck. We've named all that so we can pretty much keep up with everything. That'll help. Everything should be attached okay. We've checked the walk. It looks pretty good. So now let's start doing some texturing. Let's go down to the feet, and going to bring up some cool metal textures I get from cg.com. It's a great website to find textures. Got all kinds of metal components and parts, so let's drag something over here and see if it'll apply. And once again, if we learned nothing from an old tutorial a while back, we need to make sure we refresh the UV maps on our objects. And so this is pretty much a box, so let's go over here and refresh, and now you see it pretty much sizes a little better. And now you can maybe play with the orientation, get something. There we go. That looks pretty good. And once again, if you use the paint bucket, that'll help you, but still hasn't refreshed that object, so we've got to click on that object and go down and hit box and Y, let's say, and get it to map correctly. So piece by piece, we'll find textures that we think might work, and refresh the object's UV map, and step by step go up the robot, and hopefully get a decent look. Okay, we've got him pretty well textured, I think. Once again, play with the textures. That's where you're going to have a lot of fun, is finding cool textures, making cool textures in the paint programs, giving him a nice texture. A little beat up, but I think he's going to be good for action. Let's double check playback and make sure he's moving okay. And there he goes. All right. Now, I like to make sure that he's moving a little slower, so typically what you're going to want to do if your robot is walking, you'll make sure that that walk command is slowed down a bit. So I like to drag it out just a little longer, so he'll move a little more methodical, a little slower. Would be cool. Let's see there. Yeah, a little slower. Doom, doom. Okay. Another thing is you might want to give him some kind of pose. So let's bring up the adjust the motion in the motion editor, and let's get these arms. Let's mirror that, and let's hit the E key. E key will bring up the rotate, so you can hit the right mouse and you can make adjustments. Right mouse, you see, changes what's being rotated. Let's bring the arms up. More robot kind of pose. There. Might work. And let's see, let's hit these upper arms a little bit more. And one more time there. There we go. More of a robot kind of pose, potentially. Now, if we set these absolutes, lock them in, I'm going to click shoulders, even though we don't have shoulders. Now, when you walk, it's going to hold that position. Let's make another little adjustment to that. Bring it out. There we go. A little more that way. There we go. A little more robotic. Absolute. And if you play with these bones and locking, absolute bone settings, and lock them in, you can probably get more of a robotic movement. You can play with adjusting these legs, and you never know. I mean, it's going to be a little weird doing that, but sometimes if you lock up certain things, it's a little weird. That's kind of weird. Let's try just locking in the chest. Here. There we go. You see, he's kind of a little stiffer in that respect. You might want to make some adjustments here on the chest to allow for that. And now, there we go. See, we got a little more of a robotic move out of him. And play with those set absolute bone positions, it's called. And that just might get you what you need for your robot. Okay. Pretty cool. I think we're pretty close.